have just been tuned into the streets session with your boy Firahs and
Joe MK.
So listen, I've told you we're going to be talking about different type of companies, different food, but something that I think is very important is talking about fatherhood. So right here you can see we've got dad space, brotherly support between fathers, which I really love. And I've got here my man Devin in the building, and I want to say first of all, I love what you're doing. And I think we had a conversation just down there about an hour or so ago. I didn't even notice you were here at that point. And I want to just say, like, just from hearing that, what made you want to come up with something like Dad Space?
So yeah, it was a birth after the birth of our second daughter, Amaya. My wife and I become quite disconnected, and I didn't really know how to help her. She was struggling with breastfeeding and sleep, etc. And I was sort of left with, I want to help her, but I don't know what to do. It sort of spiraled a little bit, and one day we had the midwife come, and my wife broke down in front of her and sort of let it all out how she was feeling. But I was sort of left feeling like, why couldn't I see the signs? Why couldn't as a dad, why couldn't I see that and want to help her? And I was left with that question of, where's the help for the dads? Where can the dads go to talk about fatherhood, how they're struggling and how they want to help the mothers, etc., etc. And that's why I come up with the idea of Dad Space. Yeah.
And you know what, rightly so as well, you know, when it comes to women's pregnancy and whether you keep or don't keep the child, I feel like it's a conversation that men don't have, because we are so used to saying, and rightly so, the woman has the choice. But as a man yourself, when it comes to, you know, whether you should keep or have the child, how important do you think that conversation is with the partner?
Sorry, say that bit again. Sorry.
So how important do you think the conversation with your partner in regards to whether you keep or don't keep the child, because it's so used to not being a conversation that men really have, right? How important do you think it is to make sure that you are included in that conversation with your partner?
I think it's massively important. Yeah, massively important. Communication, I think, is the key to any relationship. You know, and me and like for example, me and my wife, we communicate really, really well. You know, we really do. But even our strong bonds, we lost our way in that small space of time. You know, luckily we reconnected. But yeah, the communication, like you say, talking about these things is massive. Yeah, massive. Yeah.
And you know what? I want to actually ask you this as well. I think we're interested in is step parents, fathers or non-fathers who are coming into a relationship with a partner that already has a child. That can be same-sex or even just you know, normal different sex relationship, right? Yeah. What does that mean to you, and what would not essentially be your advice, but like, how do you think somebody going into a relationship with somebody with a child, what should they like, or in terms of this, men, what should men be aware of when doing that?
Well, if you're, say for example, if you're let's
say I'm a straight male,
yeah,
and let's say this is Stacey, but she has a 2-year-old child.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for me going into that relationship, knowing that she has a child?
Lay your cards on the table. Be honest with each other. You know, be honest about your background. If you're committed to that person, then their child is part of them. You know, you love them. You would love their family. You know, and communicate. Massive. You know, like that, and going with it with an open mind. You know, and learn. And I think that's where, like I say, with Dad Space, it's for all dads, stepdads, you know, single dads, you know, same-sex dads, whatever it is. That's the place you can come along and discuss. If there's a guy in that scenario, you got questions, come along to Dad Space and you can share that, and you might find the answers.
That's so dope. That's another thing. So what kind of service do you provide for other fathers?
So what we make it very, very clear, we don't give advice. What we do is give support. Okay. So I'm not a counsellor or anything like that. I don't give advice to anyone, and I make that very clear from the outset. But I have got all the professional links to counsellors and all the well-being places to go to if you need professional help. But what we offer is a safe place for dads to talk, listen, and share experiences in fatherhood. So we create a circle. You talk about your feeling, talk about what you know, a particular story or something that's happened. We discuss it. And you find by offloading, it's so powerful. It's so powerful, that open discussion, you know. And what we also do as well is we have like little workshops where we do a sit-down group where we talk for an hour. We have a talking piece that goes round. And then the second hour is we'll have some breakout groups, and we might discuss, say, what mothers offer and what fathers offer in fatherhood. Like little breakout groups, and then you come back to the big group, and then you discuss all your findings. So we have little subjects about that, and and lots of things like that. And we have guest speakers come in as well, like Dom from his gym. He's coming in New Year. He's coming in New Year to talk about the positive impacts of health and fitness on your mental health, and how that is a positive impact on your family. You know, stuff like that. So that's what we're about. We offer that space to open up. And the one thing as well that I will say is the myth about guys not talking. I tell you, right? The very first meeting that I had in November, within 5 minutes, I had guys opening up and like we had tears and everything about stuff that they were holding in, about whether it be from the birth of their child or something else that's happened. So guys will talk if they're in that environment, they feel safe and comfortable to do it. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because me and Joe, who's my cameraman, for anyone listening that doesn't know, it's a camera guy, we always have our conversation, and we openly speak. If I go through something, I'll tell him. If you go through something, we'll do it. It may or may not include drinks. However, we are open to the conversation regardless of our actual mind state. And I think what's important with dad space is, if you are somebody who is a father, or even just an alpha male who believes men don't talk, listen, you heard it here. Dad space, brotherly support between fathers. Come here and have that very important conversation. Whether you're a father that's struggling to talk to your younger daughter, maybe you don't want to have those conversations about her growing up, that space is the place for you. Maybe you have a son that you haven't spoken to for years on years. Maybe you broke up with your wife. Maybe there's a situation where you haven't been able to be around. Come to Dad Space, because this is where you're going to find information and talk freely without any form of judgment. So I thank you again for bringing that platform for us fathers.
Thank you.
Obviously, big shout out to everybody that's locked in right now. Blue Reef Festival. Make sure if you're here for the rest of the weekend to check out Dad Space, and we're here every other day with our guy as well. So even if, also, actually, I was telling him he should come on our show. Should we get a bunch of fathers in a room, including Dad Space, and let's have that fatherly conversation.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I want all types of fathers. Link in the description below. I'm going to put a form out. Everybody sign it. I'll send it to you, and then we will decide if it's worth doing that show. I want to see 100 signatures.
And absolutely, I'll tell you what, it is unbelievable how powerful it is when you get the guys in that room, and then when you open it, because you can't recreate that sort of environment online. That physical meetups is something that we offer, which I think is not what anyone else is doing at the moment, and it is it's so powerful. It's so powerful.
So we're gonna do that. So thank you. This is boy Firahs. This is our boy Devlin, and we're gonna be back here again. And make sure you check him out. I'm gonna put all of his stuff in the description below. You can check him out if you want to join, if you want to have that conversation. All of these stuff will be in the below. So thank you very much, and we out.
Being tuned into the streets session with your boy Firahs and
Joe MK.
Why is this the name of our show, bro?
Because we're the hottest in the streets.
Catch us online, on the go, and on the FM.
Okay, let's go.